museums and textbooks show the nature of evolution. What is the truth behind these artworks?
You know, I talked to an artist about a year or so ago who was an artist for an evolutionary textbook, and he was told to draw a picture of one of these missing links between an ape-like ancestor and man, and he was given the skull of a creature to work from. The drawing that he made of the creature that would have had that sort of skull looked very ape-like. And when he showed it to the author, he said, "Oh no, that'll never do. You must make it look more human." So he went back and drew it again and made it look more human. They said, "Oh no, that's still not good enough. You have to make it look clearly, really man-like." And so he had to redraw it again, and they kept rejecting it. Finally he says, "I refuse to lie in my artwork. The facts are that this thing is an ape. It's not a human ape missing link." Many times I think that artistic license and imagination substitutes for good science among my evolutionary colleagues.
How has evolution managed to become so pervasive in our society?
I'm convinced the reason most people believe in evolution is because most people believe in evolution. The facts of science never did particularly point to evolution, particularly now the fossil records, a record of life in the past, just doesn't give any clue that any basic category of animal has ever changed into another basic category. But we're all taught it. We're taught it from day one in schools, and we're also taught that if you don't believe in evolution, you're an ignorant person, a fundamentalist or something. But in reality, the evidence just doesn't fit, and never has fit evolution very well. And many evolutionists now are abandoning evolution. They're looking for some other explanation of the origin of things.
In schools, students are taught that evolution is a fact. Is it proper for scientists to claim that evolution is a fact?
I remember at the Scopes trial in 1925, all the arguments that were used in favor of evolution have now been disproved. They're no longer even thought to be proof of evolution, such as Nebraska man. This was a human ancestor, so it was thought. It was based on one tooth that was found, and from that tooth was built up not only the whole person, but the family, the wife, the kids, the whole community, just off of one tooth. And it was found out later that that tooth was really not even a human tooth. It was from a pig. A Piltdown man was another one that was used as proof, and now we know that Piltdown was a fraud. Well, those things were taught as fact, and people believed evolution because of the proof that was given. But now we know that those proofs were in fact wrong, but people still believe in evolution because you see how it works. They were taught it was a fact, they believed it, and it got to where the evidences were unimportant anymore. I'm convinced that this is so destructive to the minds of our students. They're not taught how to think. They're not taught how to evaluate evidence. So they're only taught to remember what you've been taught, and then if it changes, you remember the new stuff. You see how it works. You know, I think this issue of creation evolution goes far beyond just how we look at rocks and fossils. I think it's really a basic foundational issue. You see, if we are created by a God who designed us to operate in a certain fashion, that means that God has the authority to set the rules on our behavior and the authority to set the rules for violating that behavior. So our job is to agree with and submit to those rules. But you see, if we've just descended from the animals, if we're just an ape that lost our tail somewhere along the line, then nobody owns us. We set our own rules, and we do what we want to do. This, I think, is a commentary on our modern society, that everybody's doing their own thing, that you know, we're after our own gratification.